Done. 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 There's been sort of a trend within the kind of self-improvement, productivity industry about how many books you read per year and how certain successful people read a ton of books every year, and also you should be doing that. And people love sharing pictures of the stack of books they read each year, and they love posting YouTube videos about how I read a ton of books in a year and here's how you can do it too. But the truth is, nobody cares. Nobody cares how many books you read in a year. That's such an odd thing to care about. And we're going to take a look at some videos that kind of showcase this attitude of read more books, read more books, read more books. We'll start with this TEDx talk. TEDx, not TED. That's an important distinction.
In primary school, I used to have a speech impediment. Because I couldn't pronounce the words, I couldn't understand them. Therefore, my reading speed suffered. And before I knew it, reading was my biggest fear.
Okay, this guy has a great story. He had a speech impediment. Reading was his biggest fear. He overcame it. That's awesome. I'm not here to talk about that, obviously. It's just some of the things he talks about showcase, the problem with the whole reading a book a day mindset.
Fast forward to today, I now have an accelerated reading speed of 1,500 words per minute, which is 7 times faster than the average untrained reader.
1,500 words per minute. I think that's fast. If you know your words per minute, and that's just like a fact that you can whip out about yourself, don't.
Bad habit number 2, regression. Now, by a show of hands, who in here has got to the end of a page and thought, what have I just read? Or even worse, the end of a sentence, myself included. And naturally, we go back to the top of the page, hoping this time somehow the information goes in.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's okay to go back and reread something that you might have missed or might not have understood. That's the problem with this whole mentality of speed reading and a book a day. Like, there's no time to just stop and live within the book and reread things. Readers shouldn't be made to think that that's a problem if they do read a page and realize that they didn't understand it. It shouldn't be a problem to go back and reread it. Now, I think here's a good example of a kind of self-improvement guru, whatever you call them, jumping into the world of reading, which again is mostly where I have the problem. If you're just, trying to read more, like, that's fine. But the people who are ultra focused on productivity, wake up at 5 a.m., cold showers, yeah! When those people mention reading, it's just kind of ridiculous. I love reading. Reading's great. It shouldn't be lumped in with like this entrepreneur bullshit. So let's take a look at Jay Shetty here. I have no idea who this is. I haven't seen him before. I just see in the sidebar he has some self-improvement speeches, and maybe they're great. I'm sure he's improved people's lives. Good for him. But let's look at what he has to say about how to read faster.
365 books in 1 year. How did I do it?
365 books in a year. 1 book per day. That's too many books. Chill out a little bit. That's too much. I don't think there's even close to 365 books on my bookshelf back here. Let me check. $86 books. 86. That's all that's back there. And 5 of them are just multiple copies of my book. Maybe that's just more embarrassing for me, but even reading this entire bookshelf in a year, I wouldn't want to. There's so many. Look at it. Game of Thrones itself takes 6 months to get through 5 books, because they take 15 years each to write. This is multiple years of reading for me. This isn't all what I gathered this year. So, hey, maybe I'm just a slow reader. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'll never be a CEO. But Jay's gonna teach me how, so let's see.
I want to share with you what some of the most successful people in the world think about books. Warren Buffett says that he spends 5 to 6 hours a day reading 5 newspapers. Bill Gates reads about 50 books a year.
Okay, 50 books from Bill Gates, that's a completely reasonable number. That's totally doable without being a freak about it. And he probably actually takes his time and enjoys his books. So respect, Bill, if you're listening. I got my shot for you, so.
Mark Zuckerberg says that he reads books to learn and educate himself about different cultures and backgrounds.
I have no desire to be like Mark Zuckerberg in any facet of my life.
Oprah calls reading her personal path to freedom. Mark Cuban says that he reads to learn about new industries. Now, this is gonna tell me how old you are. If you remember the Britannica Encyclopedia, Elon Musk said that he read that by the time he was 9 in total.
Okay, 2 things. The Britannica Encyclopedia, doesn't that just exist online now? I think that's like a super common thing that people use in school and stuff, so I don't think your age really matters. And also, Elon Musk read that when he was 9. When I was 9, I was watching Danny Phantom and buying giant erasers from the book fair.
Now, before we go into how I read a book a day for 365 days, I want to talk to you about the biggest mistakes we make as readers. One of the biggest mistakes we make is that we think that books need to be read cover to cover, whether they're this size or this size.
Did he just say you don't have to read the book to read the book?
Now, the interesting thing is that not all books are written in that way. It's kind of like saying when you go shopping for your groceries that you need to walk through every aisle to just find the things you needed.
No, it's not. You psycho. Okay, I can kind of see the argument, nonfiction, I guess, if you're just digging through it for certain pieces of information. If you skip around in a fiction book, you're a psycho. Come on, where are the sex scenes, George? Show me that fat pink mass.
The second biggest mistake is that we make reading all about willpower instead of love power. If you're dragging yourself through a book and trying to get through to the last page and...
Okay, that's a fair point. Don't force yourself to read things. You can give up on a book if you want. Like, that's totally fine. This whole love power thing is a little odd, but hey, he made a good point there.
So the first thing I do before I start reading a book is I find the TED Talk. I find the YouTube video that's going to tell me all about that person's big idea. What I'm trying to do here is grasp the concept of the book as quick as possible. It allows me to understand the essential principles, the underlying thought behind the book from the author without having to invest a week or a month or however long it takes to actually finish a book for you, or maybe never.
See, he basically just recommended reading the Spark Notes before you read the book. I can kind of see where he's coming from with understanding the big idea before jumping into it, but it's that last sentence that's the entire issue with this whole productivity, read a million books mindset. He said, without having to invest, more than 6 hours into reading the book. That's the point of reading. It's an investment. You should sit in it. You should enjoy it. You should learn from it instead of just fucking, okay, where's the TED Talk? Okay, the big idea is this. Boom, 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 done. Boom, 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 done. It makes no sense. That's the entire point. The fact that he just talked down on investing time in a book is insane. That's insane.
So being able to watch that TED Talk, watch that YouTube video allows you to figure out whether you even feel that topic is compelling, whether you feel attracted to that subject, or whether you feel you understood it from the talk and might not even need to read the book.
There we go. Just don't even read the book. If that's your mindset, don't read. Listen to a podcast. Watch all the TED Talks you want.
The tips I'm giving you are going to help you read a book within 2 hours or a day and help you decide whether you want to read the book cover to cover. Now imagine if you spent a month or 2 months reading a book and afterwards felt, well, what did I gain from that? What did I learn from that, if anything?
That's okay. You don't have to gain something from everything you do. You don't have to maximize everything. Sometimes just experience something is enough. Like, is that not enough for you, Jay? Is that not enough for you? You have to learn a valuable life skill every time you read a book. There's so many books that I didn't learn anything from, but I enjoyed my time with them because I wasn't rushing through to get to the next one and to find out how to continue improving my life and maximize every part of my life and productivity. Okay, that's basically it from Jay. He has some valid points in there about how to read more, and he's focused more on nonfiction, and I'm sure people get something out of this, but I just can't imagine approaching reading that way. That sounds like it sucks all the joy out of it, and it just becomes another task, another accomplishment. Like, that's the problem, is the focus on the end goal. These people, they only care about the number of books they're reading. They don't care about the actual books. They don't give a shit. They just see it as something to tick off in my daily life of a CEO checklist and go on to your cold shower or whatever. I just don't like seeing books treated that way, and it's definitely gotten more popular over the past few years where people realize that reading is a good thing to do. And there's so many more examples of people just talking about how many books they read, and there's always people one-upping each other, 100, 200, 300. This woman read 600 books in 2020. That's insane. Again, too many books. But hey, if she actually enjoyed them and read them, that's good for her. But I don't think anyone should aspire to read 600 books. I have other things to do with my life. I love reading. I have other things to do than just read all day. Even the biggest YouTuber, PewDiePie, got in on it.
I read 72 books. Sorry, I lied in the title.
And he doesn't approach it really as that. So honestly respect to PewDiePie. He's kind of, I think he kind of did a lot, at least around this time, to, encourage young people to read more, which is great. You just don't focus on the number of books per year. And the thing is, a lot of these videos do have good tips about just how to read more in general. But in the end, they all come back to skimming. That's what literally every single one of these videos, that's how they read so many books, is they skim them. Which I don't think is reading. If you read 100 books last year, cool, good for you. That doesn't make you better than other people. You're not gonna be a CEO because you read more books than someone else. Sorry, that's not the difference maker. Just like how cold showers aren't the difference maker. All right, let's chill out, okay? Let's chill. I'll leave you with a man who puts all of these CEOs and productivity gurus to shame.
There are avid readers, and then there's Michael Coulter. The 70-year-old from Peru, Illinois, says he reads an average of 2 books a day.
2 books a day. Look at that. Look at that. That's a CEO right there.
If I don't have nothing to do, I'll just sit down and read. This was a good book.
He says he's read 5,070 books in 8.5 years.
That is a man who I aspire to be.
The former gas station attendant and ambulance driver has a soft spot for mysteries and books about American history.
What kind of books do you not like to read?
Love stories and most science fiction.
Why not love stories? I like love stories.
I like love too, but...
This guy's a G. I love this man.
It's just not my cup of tea.
What do you think makes a bad book?
Sex.
Have you read Harry Potter?
Yeah, I don't like them.
Fuck this guy.
Birth you, but I can't feel you. That's an epidural. Ganja in my Herschel 17s. I keep it plural. Yeah, the crew got more colors than a Philly mural. But we brothers and motherfuckers, we ain't immortal.